Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Beyond the Finish Line. Hi, Coach Matt. How you going?
I don't. Every time you say Coach Matt, it doesn't hit me. I'm trying to lean into it. I want to embrace it, and just I don't know.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Matt and I are
Oh
recording in the morning today because we are doing some double episodes so that we have some content for you guys while I'm away in Europe. So yeah, we're recording very early, so we're a bit
yeah.
delirious.
I was gonna say when you was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "What from 12 hours ago?" Yeah, about the same.
I know we were just saying we can't do a weekly catch up because you would have listened to last week and we did our catch up then and now it's like, yeah, 12 hours later we're talking
Yeah, yeah.
again. So it is very interesting backing up an episode with another one the next day. So we're just going to chat to you guys and unfortunately there's not going to be a weekly catch up on this one.
No, but we did decide that when Georgia comes back from holidays, we will do like a whole catch-up episode where
Yeah,
we'll sort of cover, I guess, like the month because it'll
I
be four
know.
episodes.
We're going to have to take notes in our phone so that we can remember what we did. And I can tell you guys all about London Marathon. So I'll have plenty to talk about. It's going to be a big episode.
Yeah, and London Marathon, but like you're going to be going around Europe the whole month. Like
I
there'll be
know.
stories.
I keep forgetting that like we're actually doing more than just London Marathon.
London Marathon is literally the one, not even a whole day of your.
I know, isn't it crazy? All of this for one day, and you do
Yeah,
forget that you do all this training and it's literally just a day. Not even. It's like 4 hours
yeah.
of your life. So
That's what I tell everyone about Iron Man. They're like, "Oh, it's such a big thing." I'm like, "It's over before it starts." Like, yes, it's a however many hour event, but the day goes like that, and then it's just gone.
yeah.
All the prep, all the build up, everything is it's just over.
Sounds a bit like your a wedding day. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing. Yeah,
You plan for 2 years and then it's over and done with from, you start normally at 8 a.m. or something and then the day's done by midnight. So
yeah,
it's very similar. But
yeah.
yeah, I do keep forgetting that we are going away for an entire month. It's actually quite a long time. So I'm sure it'll fly by. But yeah, I think I'm starting to get excited now. We're just under 2 weeks out, and I don't know. I'm excited for London Marathon. I just watched a reel last night of someone saying in 2 weeks' time, or sorry, it was 3 weeks' time, you'll be running down this, and it was the mall or the mall or whatever they call it in
Yeah, down to Buckingham.
yeah, at Buckingham there, and I was like, oh shit, I keep forgetting how cool that's going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, living there for 2 years, I took all that for granted. I never really appreciated it, so I'm excited to go back and really appreciate all the sights.
yeah. I was, I actually think I saw that reel you posted, and I was thinking about it. Like, I don't I've walked down that road, who knows how many times, and I
Yeah.
don't ever remember looking at it and going, "Wow." But then when they put it in the context of the marathon, I was like, "Oh, that would be so cool coming around the corner and just seeing that." You'd be like, "Wow!" Like
So
it
cool.
just we were talking about perspective last night. Like it's just interesting how different things change your perspective.
Oh, totally. And if you guys haven't heard our kind of intro episode, Matt and I both lived over in the UK. And so, yeah, it is very interesting going back to somewhere. And it's like when I moved back to Sydney, I really appreciated Sydney as a tourist
Yeah,
destination. I think Nick and I always talk about how when you're in the city, people are experiencing things for the first time. Like when you go past St. Mary's Cathedral, you kind of forget that in cities in Europe, you're there taking photos of a cathedral, and then you're like, wait, people do that in my own hometown. So it is really cool, and I'm excited to see Big Ben because when we were there, Big Ben was completely under construction for
oh,
the
under construction. Yeah,
entire
yeah.
so we never actually saw Big Ben. So that'll be really
Mm.
cool, and I'm pretty sure the first time I'll actually see Big Ben will be during the marathon. So we won't pass it on our way to our com or anything like that.
Yeah, right. It's yeah. I get the same way with you're just talking about Sydney because I don't go to the city very often,
Yeah,
but I am quite patriotic for Australia. So every time I come into the city and I see the Harbour Bridge, I'm like, that's fucking awesome. So like I get
yeah.
that little bit of yeah, like I understand how your day to day it's the same when people come out to the country. They're like, oh my God, like it's so beautiful and paddocks and cows and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even notice it. Like,
I know the
but
feeling. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. I mean, you get the best view, even if you take the ferry from the city to Manly, you get an
yeah.
incredible view of the Opera House. And I still get that feeling when I'm running around the back of the Opera House just on a regular run. I'm like, oh my God, some people come here and this is like what they've come to see. So it definitely, as you said, it's a perspective change, and it's a good to look at your own home like that. But I
Do you
do,
think it's a sign of getting old? Remember when you were a kid and like you'd go somewhere and your dad or your mum would be like, "How's the view?" and you'd be like, "Fuck, I don't give a shit." And
yeah.
now you're older, you're like, "Mate, that's a good view. Oh, I don't mind that."
How's the serenity?
How's the serenity?
Yeah, I think it is probably a sign of getting older, but I think you're probably just more aware of things around you. And,
Yeah, the
as a kid,
magnitude of things and
yeah,
yeah,
as a kid, everything's big, right? Whereas when
yeah.
you're an adult, you're like, oh, yeah, this is beautiful. So,
Also, if you can't play with it or something as a kid, you're not really interested in it. Like you just
yeah.
you don't have context for like how hard like the Harbour Bridge was to build or the Buckingham Palace or what it stands for and Big Ben
Oh,
or whatever.
totally, totally. And I mean, gosh, where else are we going? We're doing going back to Paris. This will be my fifth time in Paris, and I'm still just as excited. Like I absolutely love Paris, as cliche as it is. But we're going and doing again all the things we didn't do when we lived there, like going to do Moulin Rouge and
Did Nick live
uh,
there as well?
yeah, yeah. We
Okay.
went over together. So we met in 2015, and then his best mate moved to London, and he was just talking about how awesome London was and how much fun they were having. And Nick kind of said to me, I want to live overseas. And I kind of said, well, same, but I'm tossing up between the US and the UK. And the US was just too hard to get a visa for. So we both just went, let's do it. And yeah, I think we'd been together 2 years and then packed up and went to a country we'd never even been to before and lived over there for 2 and a bit years. So yeah, I think my family were a bit like, are you sure? But whatever. I was
You're
only,
only young once. What's the worst that could
yeah,
happen?
I think I was 23 when we moved
Yeah, you
over
just get on a
there.
plane and come home if it doesn't work. Like
Yeah, exactly. And we've been back for 5 years
you're
now, which
literally
is
home in a
crazy.
day. Like
Yeah,
24 hours, you're back in Australia. Like it's not.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, I cannot believe we've been back for 5 years. It feels like we were there yesterday. But yeah, it's nice. Lots have happened since then. So I was a totally different person when I lived in London. Little travel rat and a nanny and doing all those things. And now I just am in a completely different industry and I run now. Didn't run when I lived there. So yeah, but I'm
It's just
excited for
bricks.
that.
We talk about bricks in fitness. It's bricks in life. Like all of these different bricks construct who you become. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, if for those of you guys who missed the first episode, like look at you, Matt, you've got a completely different life as well. You know,
yeah,
you
that's one
you're
way of putting it.
you were a chef and now like working for some amazing restaurants in London, and now you are a coach, you're a podcaster, you have your own business. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's just different. I mean, I
You're
also
an Iron
had
Man.
I had significantly different hobbies when I was in London.
Yeah, same. Your
Oh,
hobbies were
I was
probably a little bit different to mine
I
though.
was just gonna say mine were probably a touch more illegal, but uh,
Oh, bless.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I've just never been like a party girl, so I never really did that kind of thing.
yeah.
But that's what you do when you live in London. It's very big over there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
Anyway,
very accessible, unfortunately, but yeah, no,
did you
it's
hear that? Did you hear how they tested the water in the Thames and there was trace amounts of cocaine?
what? Really?
Because of how many people would like flush it down the toilet and stuff like that, like leftovers and things.
Really? Oh my God. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, also probably like, blowing their like nose and putting it in the toilet, like
yeah,
heaps of stuff. Like you'd be surprised
yeah.
how I guess it.
Heaps of different ways. But yeah, they and this was maybe I would have only just come home, so however long that
Yeah.
was, 5 or 6 years, and I just remember them being like, "There's trace." Like they did a test, and there was trace elements of coke in the Thames.
That's crazy. God, so much has changed. But yeah, I don't know. I've just never really been a party girl. Nick went out and he used to go clubbing a fair bit in London, and I just wasn't really. Or he'd go to the pub with all the footy boys. It's such a footy
Yeah,
culture over there. So,
yeah. Super
um,
Saturdays, you just sit at the pub for 9 hours. It's great.
I just used to go to. There was a cocktail bar called Be At One. I don't know if it's still a thing, but they used to do 2 for 1 cocktails for happy hour
Oh,
up until like 9 p.m. or something. And so you'd just get, and they didn't put a limit on how many you could buy at once. So you would literally just before the happy hour would end, you'd go and
yeah,
order like,
8:58. I'll have 14 cocktails, thank you.
yeah, like I'd go up and be like, I'll have 4 porn star martinis, and then you just sit on them until they basically went warm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. And what else? Did you ever go to the Slug in Fulham?
No.
Oh my God. Institution. It was the dirtiest pub known to man, but that's where all the Aussies used to go. And there's like Bogan Bingo, and they do like £1 or £2, I can't remember, Jaeger bombs. Oh my God. That is like a
Vicious.
hangover. I feel sick thinking about it. But getting back to the whole honeymoon thing, I had someone ask me on Instagram or TikTok, I can't remember, asking about training while away on a holiday. And I thought we'd both probably have very different takes on this, or maybe we've got the same kind of take on this. But someone was just basically saying, like, how do you fit your training into your honeymoon? If you are, say, for example, I had already started my training for Sydney Marathon. I'm not coming off the back of a marathon. So for my example, it's obviously a little bit different. But how would you suggest for people to kind of train while they're away if they've got to do their regular training but also still enjoy their holiday?
It would depend on
Let's just
where
say
that
they've got
whole
a let's say they've got a race just for argument's sake. They've got a race in, I don't know, 12 weeks.
and how long are they going away for?
2 weeks. Hypothetically, let's make up a
Yeah,
person.
no, because like if they're going away
It
for one
helps
week, I all of my athletes I say just don't worry about training. Just like
for a
you're better off
week.
just yeah, you're better off just
Yeah.
chilling and enjoying it. 2 weeks, like we spoke about in a previous episode, 14 days is kind of that element where cardiovascular fitness starts to dip. So I would just say 2 to 3 runs, very, very easy, just zone two. I wouldn't worry about any sort of race pace, intervals, long runs. I would just be like 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how hungover you are, and keep it easy.
And say, I guess for 3 weeks, would you be still doing your regular training, making sure you're hitting paces, or still just doing them quite easy?
Yeah, it depends. Like you got to take a lot of things into consideration. So, like, say for you, for example, you're going to Europe, a lot of walking and like walking around, a lot of
Yeah.
stairs in Europe. So I'd just be like, you're probably going to get quite a lot of uncalculated volume through that, and I would just be like, just I would say just run easy.
Yeah.
If you were going somewhere like Fiji and you were just hanging out on the beach all day, I'd be like, cool, go down to the gym and get on the treadmill and you could hit some paces. Um, I've got a pretty firm stance with most of my athletes is just like, if you're going on holidays, just enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
you, most athletes, because they're A-type personalities, if they don't hit their training properly, it does more mental damage than it does positive.
Yeah.
So, and if you're hungover or you want to go out and do things, like the last thing you want to think about is like, how am I going to schedule training in while I'm supposed to be enjoying my holiday? So I think it's actually more beneficial just to enjoy the holiday rather than train.
Yeah. And I mean, you can always train holidays. It's not once in a lifetime, but you know what I mean? Like a holiday, you're not getting a holiday every week. So enjoy the
Yeah.
moment. And
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And you'd be surprised how many steps you do when you're out on holidays. Like if you're walking around Rome, you're probably clocking out 25,000 steps just seeing sights. You don't even
We
realize.
were just we were just talking about this the other day when we went down to Geelong for the Ironman. We averaged 18,000 steps a day, and
Yeah.
we were just cruising around town. Like we weren't even trying to walk. Like do a lot of walking.
Yeah. You're just like going, because I mean, you're more likely to walk around when you're on holidays because you don't know
Yeah,
the transport systems and you don't have a car. And
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I can't remember where I was, and we were away somewhere. And I remember we had done like 25,000 steps that day. And I remember saying to you, I was like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. And you're like, dude, you've done so much walking. Like, what are you doing running now? So it is
Yeah.
obviously mindful to check what you're actually walking in the day. And then if you're going to, just look at your
Yeah.
next day and go, okay, we're going to go see 10 sites. I probably don't need to run in the morning.
Yeah. I was literally just talking to an athlete yesterday, and she was like, I wanna she hasn't been training very consistently. She's had some illness and some work stuff, blah blah blah. And she was like, my friend wants to do a half marathon with me, and she's just gonna run walk it, like it's her first one. And she's like, can I go and do that? And I was like, yeah, just so you know, you're gonna be super sore from it. She's like, oh, but it's only like I'm just gonna run walk or be really really slow. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't accumulated 21 kilometers of total weekly volume yet, and you're going to do all that in one day. And when I said it like that to her, she was like, oh. So then if you go, I'm going to take 25,000 steps in a day, that's probably the best part of 15 kilometers, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you want to add a run onto it, you could hit half of your weekly run volume in one day.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's crazy when you think of it like that. I think it's, you forget how much when you're actually, even for me, like just walking around the city for work, I do 10 to 15,000 steps a day just in the city.
yeah,
And I'm like, you gotta take that into consideration with your weekly volume because I mean, walking is
absolutely.
still exercise. So
Yeah,
I'm not dawdling, but yeah, it is. Yeah, you just got to take that into consideration when you're out on holidays. But I mean, if I was going to Fiji, I wouldn't be doing any walking. So
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just everything is context dependent, but if you're going on holiday, enjoy your holiday.
yeah, I mean, the back end of our honeymoon, we're not going to be doing as much walking. We've spent 5 days on this island off the coast of Naples, which will just be pure, pretty much chilling or like jumping on the back of a motorbike and exploring. And then we go to Positano for a few days, which will be a lot of walking because there's so many stairs. Um, and then yeah, we go to Greece, which won't be much walking at all. It'll be a lot of beaches. So it's timed perfectly. We've managed to work this honeymoon around the marathon quite well.
Yeah, work if speaking for you, like you do this marathon, which we're just doing as a glorified training run slash experience, and you
Yeah.
get a nice break, and then you come back and it's kind of like go time for Sydney. So it
I was
works
gonna
out quite well.
I'm just looking up how many weeks until August 31st, which is Sydney Marathon. 20 weeks. So by the time I get back with 16-week block, pretty much. 16, no, less than that. Matt's like, oh
Yeah,
no.
no, that's fine.
I'd be interested to see how, we obviously jumped straight into Sydney Marathon training. How are my first couple of weeks coming back from the marathon going to look? Do you know yet? Coming back from honeymoon, I mean?
Uh,
Just
yeah,
chill
just
or straight
yeah,
into it?
very. Well, no, like again, you pull different levers, so we will just pull on the duration lever, and
Yeah.
then once we build up some volume, then we will pull on the intensity lever. But it also depends on like how much of a good time you had while you're away.
I know, I'm a little bit scared I'm going to come back like 10 kilos heavier and just like so
Yeah,
unfit.
like that's a realistic thing. Like we need to look at. Like if you come back, let's just use you won't come back 10 kilos
No,
heavier.
I won't.
But
I
if
won't.
but if we use 10 kilos just as an example number, it your body is not used to moving that additional 10 kilos around under that sort of pressure, like from running, because obviously
Yeah.
running is just a series of small jumps. That's like it's a lot for the body to adapt to. And we spoke about it last night. Stress and stimuli makes the muscle grow. If you push that to the extreme and put too much stress into the muscle, you get injured. So there will be a bit of a feeling out period, which will probably be 1 to 2 weeks of easy running, and then it'll get pretty aggressive.
Yeah, and I mean the last week of my honeymoon I could definitely get some runs in. We'll be in we'll be in Greece, as I said, but we'll also be in Amsterdam. So uh, a couple of no, I'm only joking. I was gonna say a couple of joints and a run. No, honestly, I last time we went to Amsterdam was 2017 and did nothing for me. So there'll be none of that this
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I don't really rate Amsterdam. It's a great party town, but like if you're just going for the if you're
Oh,
not into
really?
that, it's yeah,
Really? I really liked Amsterdam. It's like got good shopping and good cafes. You can go and sit and chill. We're only there for a
interesting.
couple of days, so
Yeah, well, again, back then we had very different pastimes, so
we did. We did.
I wasn't really interested in cafes and shopping.
What? Are you really? What do you mean you didn't go shopping when
Yeah.
you went to Amsterdam?
Oh, we would fly into Amsterdam on like a Friday afternoon, not sleep until Monday morning, and then get the flight home.
Oh, yuck. That
We
sounds
would do that for
horrible.
so many different cities. I'd fly into Barcelona, fly into
Like
Malaga,
Berlin.
yeah, Berlin. Like, yeah, we would just fucking rip.
Oh, how times have changed, hey?
Now I'm in bed at 8 o'clock.
No, I know. God, every time, honestly, now, ever since we had that conversation, I look at the clock and I'm like, it's 8:30 p.m. Matt's in bed. And I'm just like, just finishing off dinner or something. Oh, anyway. Yeah, what's happening in the business, Matt? How's things going with all of that? How are all yours?
Yeah, so I guess one thing we wanted to finally launch, something we spoke about for a while, is
I
the training
know.
programs,
So
which is exciting.
excited. Run us
Yeah.
through them.
Well,
This is yours. Tell us all about them. I'm so excited for this for you. You've been working really hard on this in the background.
I have, but it's an interesting one, right? Because train, I don't like training programs.
I know this has been a learning curve for you as well.
Yeah. I think the 90. I worked out. I spent nearly $5,000 on different training programs, in the build up to launching my training programs.
Oh my
So
God. You were actually out
what?
buying training programs to see what they
Yeah,
were doing.
I went to all the best run coaches, all the best triathlon coaches, and I just wanted to see like how they programmed them, how they wrote them, how they justified their value, all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And
And what did you find? What was the biggest takeaway from getting all of those?
I actually didn't. There wasn't one that I would have recommended to someone else.
How interesting.
Yeah. So some people might sound that as like, oh my God, you wasted five
No,
thousand
no, no.
dollars on that, and I
Market
was like,
research.
market research, yeah, and like I was like, cool, everything that they've done, I'm just gonna do better. Um, and that's what I think we've done with our programs. I think we've just, what I wanted to do with the programs was if you could not afford one-on-one coaching or to see some form of running coach, whether that's in a group format or one-on-one,
Mm.
was give you the opportunity, at least give you a actual progression. So I think most people, when they write a training program, they just start from a random spot and they make it really unrealistic. So it's like 0 to marathon in 20 weeks,
Yeah.
and or they do run a sub 4 hour marathon with this 16-week program, whatever it is.
So crazy.
And I just think, yeah, I think the majority of them are just ridiculous. Like even just saying it out loud, you're just like, what are the chances someone who has done zero running and then will run 42.2 kilometers with no injury? They're assuming 100% adherence to plan. They're assuming so many things that are just unrealistic.
Mm.
Like when you started running, Georgia, in the first 20 weeks, how many weeks did you stick to the plan perfectly?
No, no weeks would have stuck to the plan completely. Maybe one or two, but doubt it. It wouldn't have been perfect.
Yeah, and like though all of those plans assume a perfect level of adherence. Like you must
Yeah.
hit the workouts A, B, and C,
Mm.
and if you miss one, then it throws the whole algorithm out. So what I wanted to do was fix the problem, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's, yeah. Any good thing is where you're fixing a problem. And so with the plans, I just want to jump back. You were just saying that some people obviously can't afford one-on-one coaching. And so with the one-on-one coaching, they've got you at their, for lack of a better word, like beck and call, right? They
Yep.
can message you, talk to you,
Yep.
you can move the plan around, all that kind of stuff. And that is what people are paying for when they're paying for a one-on-one coach, is that they're getting the person. And so this is kind of, they get your experience, your expertise, your brain, but instead they're just not getting that kind of full-on one-on-one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Essentially, yeah, you just don't get the feedback mechanism, which is what
Yeah.
coaching is, right? Like you perform A action, I give you B feedback, and then you perform A action again, taking on B feedback. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, and then the rate of improvement is the rate of learning for the athlete and the ability for the coach to articulate what needs to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that feedback is amazing, but this is a great way for people to, especially in the world we are in right now, a great way for people who want to take it seriously, want to learn a little bit more, but can't, as you said, can't afford that one-on-one aspect. So
Yeah,
do you want to kind of run us through what the programs are? I know obviously you're not going to tell us exactly what they are, but explain them, give us the elevator pitch for the program.
yeah. So the way I did it was I broke it up into three sections. So we've
Yeah.
got new to running, which is literally if you, 0 to 10Ks, if you fit somewhere in that progression, new to running. Then we did half marathon, which is 10 to 21Ks, full marathon, 21 to 42. And each one of those sections is broken down into three programs. So there's a base building phase, a speed phase, and then like a peak and taper phase.
So
And
good.
yeah, and each section is only 4 weeks long. So that way, if you do miss a workout or you don't feel 100% ready to progress, you can just you could redo that cycle if you wanted. You're not locked into this 12-week super strict adherent program. The other part that I thought was unique that I did was, the coaching videos that I do.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who doesn't know, like we use Loom, which is basically just a screen recording. I'm like in a little circle down the bottom. The training software is up on the screen, and I just sort of walk my athletes through what they did well, what they didn't do well, etc. But for the programs, at the start of every week, there is a video, and I talk you through all of the sessions of like what to achieve, what you should be trying to hit, and obviously when we first start out, when we're in the new to running program, the directions are very, very simple, like just try and nasal breathe, or like this is how hard it should be feeling. If you're feeling like you are starting to huff and puff, you should slow down. And then as we move forward through the programs towards the marathon, obviously the instructions get a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more comprehensive in terms of like
Yeah, a
zone threes and tempos and things like
bit
that.
more in depth with that.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
depth. That's what I wanted. Yeah.
I love those Loom videos, and that's how this podcast started. Was that because Matt would send me like a 10 to 15 minute Loom video and I'd be like, "Yay, my podcast is here!" And I'd
Yeah.
listen to it on the bus because there'd be so many helpful things, and Matt would go through all the different aspects of my week, and this, maybe this is probably could have done a little bit better here, or what was going on here? Why is your heart rate so high when it should be in zone 2? Or yeah, so cool. I love that. So that's such a good addition to the programs where you've got the video at the start to have that bit more of a personal aspect.
Yeah, and then the I wanted to make it realistic. So if you're going from absolute zero, you can start at the 0 to 5K, and you can go to. So we've literally just called on like new to running 1, 2, and 3, half marathon 1, 2, and 3, full
Yeah,
marathon 1, 2,
why
and 3.
complicate it?
Yeah, so super easy. So you start at 1, 2, 3, then you go to the next stage 1, 2, 3. But if you start at 0, over the course of 9 months, it'll take you to like guaranteed you will run a marathon and you will feel great doing it. It won't be like I don't know if I can do it. It is
Yeah.
100% guaranteed you'll do it. And another thing I wanted to do, which I didn't see anyone do, is like they don't put their money where their mouth is. They just write the program, go run a marathon in 20 weeks, pay me $500. Um,
Crazy.
yeah, so we put a guarantee with all of our programs. If you buy a program, and let's just say it is the full marathon program, and you don't achieve running a full marathon, and you do all the workouts and you don't achieve it, I coach you for free until you do. Like, so we like actually
Wow.
put yeah we put a guarantee behind it. That's how confident I am in the programs that we wrote.
How do you know people are doing the program though?
So
Yeah, I
when
guess
they
you,
download the program, they get training peaks
of course. Sorry, I completely
and and
blanked. Yes.
and everything. Yeah, so training peaks for people who don't know is a training software. Your Garmin, Apple Watch, smart device links up to it, and you can the workout will populate on your watch
Yeah.
or phone or whatever, and then when you finish the workout, all the data gets put onto Training Peaks, so you can see the data as well. But then I can also see it if I choose to.
Ah, no hiding on both accounts.
Yeah, so if someone messages me and goes, "Hey, I did the 10K program and at 8Ks I was buggered and I couldn't run 10," I can go, "Cool, like let's jump on a call. Show me your Training Peaks." I'm like, "Well, you only did half the workouts, so."
Got ya.
Or they did all the workouts, and I'm like, cool. Like, I'm going to coach you for the next month until, or however long it takes you to run 10Ks.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry guys, I'm losing my voice. That's so cool. I love that. And I mean, it kind of keeps both parties accountable. And I think that's awesome is that, you're keeping people using the program accountable, making sure that they're doing all the workouts because they can't
Mm.
do them and be like, hey, I want coaching. Is it
Yeah,
you're like, well, you missed half your workouts. So, um,
yeah.
oh,
And
cool.
and the other we put in another chunk of added value is every time every program is 4 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
when you finish a program, you'll automatically get an email and so that you can book a 10-15 minute athlete consult with me. So you're like, hey, this is what I did. This is how it went. Like, what do you think I should do next? And I'll help you like create a bit of an action plan, whether that is doing the next program in the um, series, or if it's like, hey, maybe you should
Going
go
back.
back and
Yeah.
redo like the last 2 weeks, or or going into coaching or whatever it is. We'll just help you create the right next step.
Yeah. And so I guess if they're going to repeat a week, does it just repopulate it into their
Yep.
training
Yeah,
peaks?
I show them how to do it on Training PE. You literally just click copy and paste, and it just moves it.
Perfect. And
Yep.
then do they expire?
No.
No.
No. So if you buy a training program, you have access to it for life, and every time I update it, so whether I uh, do some research and find like this is potentially a better way of training, or I've tested stuff with my one-on-one athletes and like this was really really effective, and I update the training plans,
Yeah.
you'll get the new workouts in there.
Oh my God. It is insane the value in this. And I know you said you've looked at other programs and you want to do something different and better. And I mean, this is so much better. This is literally everything I know that you and I have ever spoken about with programs. And the problem with programs is that, they're just so broad and so fast. Whereas this is, you actually want people to finish, you want people to succeed. I think it's awesome. It connects to your watch. Like, I mean, just going out, if you're out at the park and you just click on your watch and go do workout, it is so handy to not have to count your interval sessions for them just to be there. It's so cool. I love it. It's, yeah, absolute game changer.
Yeah, and then for like the more experienced athletes, so like, let's just say like half marathon, full marathon, we show you how to set your training zones, set your training paces, work out everything, and you can put it into your training peak. So if you say do your interval session, it'll tell you how fast you need to run or what heart rate you need to hit, etc. So we walk you through all of that with the videos. So put a fucking ridiculous amount of work into the training
You
programs,
have, yeah.
and George has been a bit of a sounding board for me because I would just send a voice note after voice note after voice note and being like, and it was funny when I first started doing it. The first time I said it to her, she was like, "Yep, really, really good, love it," and I was like, "Oh no, we haven't even started. I'm going to reiterate this I don't know how many times. And she was like, ah, fuck.
No, do you know what? It's nice to feel important or not. Wanted's not the right word, but it's
Valued.
nice. Thank you. That's the perfect word. It's nice to feel valued, and that I've loved like bouncing ideas off you and chatting about all this kind of stuff and how can we improve it. And as a beginner runner back, a couple of years ago, I remember what it was like. There was nothing out there. It was so confusing. And even for me, for my first marathon, like I had to go on Google and try and find some kind of printout. And then I'd
Mm.
print it out and stick it on my fridge, or I'd make a table in Excel and then print it out, and like so bad. Like there's absolutely no structure to my training. And so for other runners out there who are just joining the running community or who are just starting out with races or half marathons or having big goals, it's so great that they've got something to follow. I know quite a few people who are doing their first half marathon this year. Like this would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been such a fun journey, and I'm so excited to see these launch and for you guys to be able to see them and use them and enjoy them. And as Matt said, he's worked really, really hard on this, but it's all for you guys to benefit. So it's so cool.
Yeah. And obviously, we sort of went back and forth on a few things about it. I probably won't share all the details on it just because we got to keep some stuff
No,
private,
yeah, for
Georgia.
sure.
Um, but I said at the start, like, I don't like training programs. I don't think people should do training programs because of all the points we listed. But then I was like, okay, who do we make the program for? And I was like, well, is there a way I could make it for every new runner? And that was like a really big concept where theoretically, if you can go back, you could walk your way through from start to finish, and then you could go back to the start, change your zones, change your paces based on the progress from the first one, and you could just continue to run through the cycle and get better and better and better. So we haven't the programs have only just gone live, so we haven't tested this fully, but in theory you could run the exact same workouts over and over again and just continue to get better, and you'd only need to buy one set of programs for the rest of your running career. It would be really, really boring to just do one set of workouts, but you would continue to get better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, your whole pain point with programs was that they were 0 to marathon in 20 weeks. And so the biggest thing that I always said to you was just like, it's missing. It's not there. There's none of this for people like myself who I maybe got to a half marathon and then went, okay, now I want to do a marathon, but am I ready to do a marathon, or how do I
Mm.
know? Or so, yeah, I think that
And
was the pain point.
we make it really, really clear. So when you click on a program, it'll be like, if you can run 15 kilometers unbroken, this program is for you. If you can
Yeah,
run 21 kilometers unbroken, this program is for you. If you cannot, go back to this one and it will build you up to that.
yeah,
So,
so cool.
yeah, every program, like when I say it's a true progression, I mean like 0 to 5K, 5 to 10K, 10 to 15K. Like it actually walks you through all the distance, so you can find out exactly where you're at, and you can jump in at half marathon 2 if that is where your training volume's at, or you can
Yeah,
jump in at marathon 1 if that is where your training volume's at. So I think we've done something that hasn't been done before, and the amount I can't stress to you guys how many times I rewrote the programs, how much time I invested in it, how much money I invested in it, just like going back and forth and thinking this is absolutely perfect, and then just deleting it all and starting again. Like
yeah,
it's been a month. Been working on it for months to write 9 programs. So I think they are the best running programs currently available. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think the way we structured it is
well, yeah. And I mean, they are the best because you've literally taken every other program and gone, well, this is what's wrong with that one, so let's fix that. And I think any good product is you want to know they've done research on it. You don't want something where they've just gone, oh, I've just thrown it together and I've done zero market research.
yeah, and it's almost it was really interesting in terms of a lot of the programs I bought, I was like, fuck, like you could nearly do some of these for plagiarism on top of one another. Like it was just
Oh, it
they
would
were
be
just so
insane.
so similar, and I was just like, and marketed completely differently, worded completely differently. But I was like, when you actually get into the guts of the workout, it's all the sessions or the structure. I was like, they're all
The
the
exact
same,
same.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean,
so
that's the thing, right? Is that people just go, "Oh yeah, that was a good workout. I'll just chuck it in." Or, I mean, they
yep,
download an app that gives the workouts, and they're probably just pasting them into a document and selling it. So yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. You guys are going to love it, and yeah. So it's 9 separate programs. All of them are 4 weeks each, and you can pick.
correct. Actually, I think the last two marathon ones are 6 weeks, but everything else is
Even
four
better.
weeks.
Extra
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
yeah. But if you from zero to the end of the marathon is 9 months exactly.
So cool. So,
So,
so
like for
cool.
example, you could start January 1 and be ready for Sydney Marathon.
So good. This will be perfect. Yeah, for those of you who I know, even those who've spoken to me saying, oh, they want to do Sydney Marathon next year, this is going to be
Yep.
perfect. You can jump straight on these, as Matt has said, on January 1 and do Sydney Marathon by August. So, and heaps of
Yeah,
people
and
tickets for 26, I think, because they did the candidacy program. Although, you probably got to run a marathon though if you've done the candidacy, but heaps of people wanting to do next year's marathon. So this would be perfect.
yeah, and just on that, like a lot of the sessions we did, if you've already run a marathon and you're thinking and you just want some more structure for your training program, you don't need to do new to running. Obviously, you can just jump in at half marathon, but I would, I almost guarantee that if you haven't done structured training before, you've just sort of winged your way through to running a marathon or used an app. If you get into a structured program, the change, like you will see a significant change in your fitness and your conditioning. So,
Oh, I
um,
100%. I mean,
it's not just for new runners.
no, I thought, yeah, when I said that, I was like, wait, no, you can totally do the program if you've done a marathon before. I mean,
Yeah,
take me as the biggest example. Print out on the fridge first marathon, did it, and then survived barely. And then second marathon ran with you, had a very similar program that you wrote for me. And I got a 43-minute PB. So that just goes to show what an actual structured program and structured workouts where you're following them, you're doing the paces. Because I did none of that in my first marathon,
yeah,
like none of it. It was like, go for an 18-kilometer run. I didn't even read what it said. I just was like, okay, 18 Ks, and just did it at the same pace. Whereas the second time around, you were like, no, no, there's blocks of race pace in here. So, I mean,
yeah,
the structured workouts are going to be helpful even if you have done a marathon before or you've done a half marathon before. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I would nearly venture to say if you've run one of those races before, just using an app or a printout or whatever, and then you came and did one of our programs, I would be shocked if you didn't have a significant PB.
yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, gosh. Anyway, I could I could talk about that for ages, just how, my first one I just had no idea because there was no info. I didn't
Yeah,
understand how important it was to
and even
do.
the info that is available, like I said, you can buy training programs, but it's the way that the information is delivered. So we sort of spoke about last night about articulating thoughts and how you can say one word, I can say the same word. We have two different meanings. So like having someone, if you buy a training program and it says do an easy run, you and I would have completely different ideas of what an easy run is.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but then if you have someone who sits on a video and goes, cool, an easy run. These are the three metrics we look for an easy run. Like it should be able to nasal breathe, you should be able to talk, you should be able to, as soon as you finish running, you should not feel any level of fatigue. Like just as an example. So,
Mm.
or same with uh, interval sessions, you'd be like, cool. So at no point are we sprinting. I put that in all of my interval sessions. You should be able to fully recover in X period of time. This is how recovery should look like, and you walk people through that, and just making sure that there is no grey area, no room for interpretations. Like this is what you need to do. If you do that, this will be the outcome. And I think training programs, apps, they leave there's a lot of grey area, which is where people get confused and progress isn't had the way it should be.
Definitely. And just going back to like where you said that our definitions of easy runs are so different. I mean, that first program I ever did, it would say do an easy run. And I guarantee you I was in zone four the entire block.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
reckon
You'd come in and
18
your average
weeks
heart rate
of
would be like 168, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
so true. My average heart rate was so, I remember some of my runs, I was clocking like a 200 in some of my heart rates. I remember them.
Yeah,
I remember I would go to this run club and it was 10K every Sunday. And some of those 10K runs, my heart rate was in the 200s, which is wild. I don't even know if my heart rate could get to that now, but I
but
had
now
no
your Monday
idea.
runs, like we keep it under 140 BPM for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, some days are a little bit higher, depending on the
Yeah.
weather, so many different things, but I'm still running them easy. And I think that's what's so helpful in having a bit more of a clear definition as to what you mean by an easy run or what you mean by a tempo session or interval or long run, race pace, all these different definitions that are out there that people probably don't know about.
Mm.
Whereas you actually are explaining it to people, which is so good because all
Yeah.
of these, how many of those other programs that you bought were they just like a PDF? They just send you a PDF in an email. Was there
Well,
many like that?
no, because I bought, so Training Peaks has a marketplace on it built in where
Oh,
coaches can
okay.
sell their programs. And I do value, like, if a coach is investing in Training Peaks, I think they have some level of investment in it. So I would sort of value that over just like someone selling a digital product.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that people who sell a PDF one is no good. Just like it was just easy for me to rip through, buy them. It automatically populates on my Training Peaks. I can go into it, like I can pull it apart. So, um, yeah, that's that.
Okay, amazing. I'm so excited to see them come out. Well done. That's so cool. Hopefully, you guys love them. And please, if you do get one, please let us know what you think and tell Matt, tell him how great they are. I'm sure he'd love to
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah. There was just one other
Yeah.
pillar I wanted to hit on, because we got 10 more minutes before we need to
Nah,
wrap
it's
this
fine.
up. Um, and I said this to Georgia, and she was like, she wasn't really sure how to process it at first. Um,
Classic. I'm like, huh? Oh dear.
I was like, what I really want from the performance project is like, yes, obviously we coach and like we all of our athletes are studs. Like we get really really good results from our athletes because they put in so much hard work. But I was like, for the people who cannot, and obviously we can only take a limited number of athletes.
Yeah.
So it's like for the people who cannot come in, like how can I make it? How can I give them the most value? I was like, well, what did I value when I started? And that was education. And I was like, I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn about running. I wanted to learn about all the different terminology. So I sort of coined this phrase like real endurance education available to everyone, and
Oh.
that's sort of the underlying theme of all the programs is we don't hide anything. We share, as I share all the same as what I do on the podcast. If there's something I want to talk about, I will talk about it at length and make sure that everyone understands it. Um, and my goal is if you finish even one of the programs, that you are in a better place of understanding how to progress your running. And we made all of the new to running programs. So if you cannot run up to 10Ks, 0 to 10Ks, all of those programs are free. So it's just we just want people to get in, start running, learn about running, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just something I really wanted to drive home is like we want to teach people how to run and how to enjoy running it and just get started. So we've made it as easy and frictionless as possible. Um,
No, it
so
is.
zero,
It's
yeah,
yeah,
anything
it's
0 to 10
perfect.
Ks is free. Yeah,
Yeah, and also it's a good way for people to see what to expect and to know exactly what it's going to be like, and you don't feel like
yeah,
spend all this money and then you're like, oh, like I did with other programs that I've had for various different things, where you buy it and then you're just like, I'm so disappointed, but there's no one to contact to be like, this sucks. or
Yeah, yeah,
feel like I've been taken advantage of, or someone's just selling me something. And I mean, I love that you are so passionate and you want to educate people and you want people to be as passionate as you are. And I think that's the marker of an incredible program. So yeah, I love
yeah.
that.
And that's the thing. Like, if even if you are not a new runner, you could download the new to running program, and you could just see the quality of, like I said, the videos, the structured workouts, etc. And it would give you confidence to go, well, if that's what they're giving away for free, imagine like how good the paid stuff is. And it does, like, as
Yeah.
the workouts ramp up and the distance ramps up, it gets more in depth, more education. The workouts get more structured. Like, so it definitely ramps up as things progress. So I just hope people appreciate all the hard work that we put into it, because we think it's I truly do think they're the best. It's the best structured running program that's currently available.
It is. It is the best structured program. Let's like you gotta yes, this is the best shit ever. Stand behind it. I love it.
I definitely stand behind it. It's just, everyone is everyone's a critic. You know.
I know, I know. It is hard. It is hard where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, you don't want people to come and be like, what the hell? But I don't think anyone will. I think they're gonna love it.
No. Like I said, put our guarantee behind it. If you don't achieve what the program promises, we'll coach you for free until they do. So,
I mean, insane. So incredible. So incredible.
performanceproject.com.au.
Yeah, I mean, plug it away. Go for it. This is your own podcast. You can do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
we'll put a link in the show notes underneath. I'll take you straight to it. You guys can check it out, and we will do a discount for Beyond the Finish Line. I'm thinking about this on the fly.
I was like, have you thought about this?
I
Yeah.
haven't.
We,
We'll post it on the. I'll post it on Instagram. So you got to make sure you follow us on Instagram. I will do. I'll post a discount code and all the things. I
yeah,
did
for
think about it.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we will
that's
do a
okay.
discount for you guys.
But yeah, like you guys know our own personal handles, but Beyond the Finish Line, obviously underscore pod, and then it's is it the underscore performance underscore project on
That's the
social?
one.
That's the one. Definitely follow that so you can keep an eye on the programs a little bit more. If you've got any questions, hit Matt up, hit myself up. I can steer you in the right direction. I get loads of DMs of people being like, hey, like, who's your coach? So hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions you have as well. And if I'm not sure, I'll ask Matt and answer for you as well. But yeah, it's so exciting. I can't wait for them to launch. And they'll launch when this episode launches, right?
Yep. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll sync it up. So they're done now, but yeah, we'll sync it up with this episode. Um,
Lucky you guys,
and
you
it's
get them a week early because he wasn't going to launch them until a week after this episode airs. But I've managed to get it in a bit early for you guys. For
yeah.
listeners, you get it a week early.
Yeah, that's it for
Oh, there
listeners.
you
You get it a week
go.
early. Yeah, they're perfect, and we'll do the discount. I'll put the discount in the show notes, so you guys will see there'll be a discount
Perfect.
code and the link and everything. And what it's I haven't even spoke to Georgia about this at all,
Oh,
but
yay. I love when Matt does this. On the fly, hit me up.
we are working on an idea, a concept, and I'm not going to give too much away just yet, but we're going to create something that, again, we don't think anyone has done,
Yeah.
but it is going to be something between a training program and one-on-one coaching. So there's going to be
Oh,
there's going to be a middle ground that we think is really, really unique and really, really accessible to the masses, and will still give people really, really high-end results.
oh, the suspense. I got no
Yeah.
idea what he's talking. I can't wait off mic to be like, what?
Yeah. Normally we end this podcast and George's like, I gotta go. And now she's going to be like, tell me all about it.
Tell me about it. I want to know. There'll be voice notes all day today. I can't wait. Oh gosh. Well, we were going to answer a Q&A, but it's probably going to be, well, we can fit it in. We
Yeah,
can
we got
fit
five
it
minutes.
in. So we have a question here from M that's been in our DMs and we've been holding off on it to answer on the pod. So M is a healthcare worker. We love that. Thank you for everything you do. And she works full time. So she has a mix of afternoon shifts, night shifts, day shifts. So as someone who has a healthcare worker in the family, I can totally understand how busy your life is. She just wants to know, she's done her first marathon last year, but she's not
Hmm.
yet, she doesn't know how to figure out how to keep progressing with her running when her roster doesn't allow her to run enough and get adequate sleep and recovery. She says, don't get me wrong, I've come so far with my running, but I know that I'm capable of more. I want to hit a PR at Gold Coast Half Marathon this year, but I'm not sure how to move forward with my running. So how can Em progress with what she's doing, considering she's not getting the same amount of sleep or time in the day as someone else? Is there a way that she can improve, or is this like a having a bit more time, or what would you
I
say,
mean,
Matt?
the obvious answer is buy a training program for the half marathon. However,
Yeah, classic. I
yeah,
mean, you're not wrong.
yeah. Um, I would be interested, and Em, you would have, I'm gonna reply to your DM, but just for the sake of this, I'd be interested to know how much you're running. I think the majority of my half marathon runners only run 3 times a week, and
Yeah.
like they make pretty good gains with that. We might do bring it to 4 runs a couple of weeks out. Uh, so if you can't run 3 times a week, I'd say it's pretty hard just to get the volume in, like because you need to be running sort of 30, 40 kilometers a week to make any sort of progress at that distance. Um, then part about sleep and recovery is tough. Obviously, because you work night shifts and things. I do, and I'm not saying M is this, but I have noticed a trend that people are so much more obsessed about sleep and recovery almost more than the training. That like I had an athlete that I work with say, I've only got 12 hours. They were doing a swim in the morning and a run in the afternoon. And I was like, there's only 12 hours in between sessions. Is that enough time to recover? And I was like, yeah, it's fucking heaps. Um,
Yeah.
and then someone messaged me like, I only got 6 hours of sleep last night, so I'm not going to run today. And I was like, fucking, I live my life off less than 6 hours of sleep. Like, um,
I do know people that do struggle with that bit of sleep anxiety where they're not hitting what they feel is a good marker for them. Yeah.
yeah, but again, it's a good marker based on what, like,
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
just
at
because
the end of the
Whoop
day,
says
it's
it's a 70%
yeah,
sleep score, like, what does that mean? Like, if you didn't have Whoop on, you just get up and run.
yeah. It's like having a Garmin, right? And you get your sleep score, and people go,
Yeah,
"Oh, wow, I had a great sleep," and then I look down and it was a 70, and they're like, "Oh, I had a shit sleep," and it's like,
yeah,
well,
exactly.
and you've always
Um,
said go off your body, so
yeah, like I post my Whoop score every single day on my Instagram, and I never listen to it ever. It'd be like, you've been red 4 days in a row. I'm like, well, I'm going to run a marathon today, so we just got to get this sorted.
get
Um,
over it, whoop.
yeah, exactly. So it's tough. It's tough with night shift because like sometimes you're legitimately getting like 2 hours of sleep. Um, it's I can't answer it properly without sort of talking to you, Em, which I'm going to. I'll reply to your DM like I said. Um, I would just say like 3 structured sessions a week is a really really good place to start. Um, and then just moving them around your shift work. So just being flexible with your schedule. If you know every Saturday you do night shift, well, it doesn't make sense to do your long run on a Sunday. It might make sense to do it Saturday afternoon before night shift, for example,
Yep.
or like. So I would maybe just be a little bit more flexible with schedule, and maybe be a little less worried about recovery from the workout. I would just make sure you're getting adequate recovery like off a night shift because obviously like circadian rhythms all messed up. But outside of that, without a little bit more context, it's a hard one to answer.
Yeah, I think the key takeaways is just doing what you can to fit it around your current schedule.
Yep.
Don't feel like you need to be running, 4 days a week. As Matt just said, you could do three. Eating well, sleeping where you can. Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing is that, and I don't know what your roster is, but a lot of my shift workers kind of work on like 14-day rotations.
Yep.
So if you have let's just say your A week, you have extra night shifts. Well, okay, let's just do one or two easy runs that week. And then on your B week, if it's more afternoon shifts, but cool, that's my heavier running week. So
Yeah.
there's like you can alternate it like that. Like we've also got FIFO workers who we do that. So when they're on site, there's just like very, very basic training. When they're off site, like we really ramp things up. So they have like a big week and a smaller week.
I
Yeah, so
think,
there's a few different strategies.
and I think the real answer here, Matt's like, I just want to coach you now. I need more answers. Tell me more. I can
Yeah,
see him. He's like bouncing in his seat, just wanting to like actually ask Em more questions.
yeah. Well, I don't like being I don't like
You
giving
don't
an
like
answer
being
without all the
broad. Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that. I
it's
get
tough.
that.
Yeah, because like if you work
Anyway,
night shift every single day, you're like, well, that's tough.
I don't know how they do it, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It is, I don't know how people can sleep during the day. And yeah, I know plenty of people who do night shift, whether that be in hospitality or in healthcare and stuff like that. And
Yep. Yeah.
oh,
Absolutely. They're
wow.
savages, and they still get after their training.
Yeah, so cool. They're honestly, yeah, beasts. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I have to get to work today, and Matt
Yeah, I've
has
got to
to
go to physio.
probably, I was going to say, Matt probably has to go train or do something fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
no, thanks.
job.
Yeah, it is your job. It's so cool. And we can't wait to get the programs to you guys and to see what you guys think. And
Performanceproject.com.au.
I was going to say, do you want to let us know? And Matt's just like, performance project. Make sure you jump over to performanceproject.com.au and check out the programs now that they are live. As you're listening, they will be live. So jump over and check them out. As I said, follow us on Instagram and YouTube, Beyond the Finish Line _pod, and let us know what you think. Ask us questions. We need more questions. Give us some Q&As we can do at the end of the episodes. But yeah, have a wonderful day, Matt. Enjoy physio, and we will
Will
talk to you
do.
guys soon.
Hey, Root.
Bye.